Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm your family doctor and I'm so glad you're here. All right, let's talk about something that drives so many of my patients absolutely crazy. Have you ever had this happen? You get over a cold, the fever breaks, the body aches go away, you're finally feeling human again, but that cough just will not quit. And it's not even just a cough, it's that deep, annoying one where you constantly feel like there's something stuck in your throat. You know, the feeling, that sticky, stubborn lump of phlegm that you just can't cough up and you can't swallow it down either. It's like it's glued right there. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And honestly, some of my patients tell me they feel like they want to bang their head against the wall, especially first thing in the morning. You wake up and your throat feels coated with this thick gunk. It's so uncomfortable. It almost makes you feel nauseous. You go see your regular doctor and look, I'm not bashing my colleagues. They might give you some over-the-counter cough suppressants, maybe an expectorant, sometimes even an antibiotic if they think there's a secondary infection. You pay your copay, you wait at the pharmacy, you spend the money, you take the meds, but that phlegm just stays right there. It doesn't budge, the cough lingers, days turn into weeks. I've had patients tell me they've been dealing with this for 1 month, 2 months, even 6 months or longer. It just drains your energy. It messes with your sleep. It makes you feel lousy. Have you ever felt like this? Drop a comment if this sounds familiar. I'd love to know I'm not the only one seeing this pattern. So why does this happen? Why do some coughs and that stubborn phlegm just hang on forever, way after the cold is gone? The answer, and this comes from a lot of the traditional and integrative approaches I've studied and used with my patients, is actually not that complicated once you understand the root. That phlegm isn't stuck just because you didn't take the right cough medicine or the right dose. It's because we haven't addressed where that phlegm is actually coming from in the first place. And this is the key insight. The problem isn't really in your lungs, even though that's where you feel it. It's coming from somewhere else. Here's a way I explain it to my patients. Think of it like this. You're mopping up a puddle of water on your kitchen floor, but you don't realize there's a leaky pipe under the sink. You can keep mopping all day. You can use the most expensive cleaning products. You can scrub until your arms hurt. But the water will keep coming back. You're not solving the source. That's exactly what happens with this type of chronic phlegm. You're trying to clear it out of your throat and lungs, but you're not fixing what's creating it. And until you fix that, you're just fighting a losing battle. So what's that source? Well, in many traditional medical systems, and this is a framework I find incredibly useful with my patients, there's a foundational concept that explains this perfectly. It goes like this: the spleen is the source of phlegm, and the lungs are the place where phlegm is stored. Now, I know when I first explain this to my patients, they give me this look like, Doc, are you serious, my spleen? I thought that thing just sat there and did nothing. I get it. It sounds abstract. You're coughing from your chest. You feel it in your throat. So naturally, you think the problem is in your lungs. But hear me out, because this is the piece that changes everything. Think of your digestive system. And in this framework, we're talking about the function of your spleen and stomach, like the waste management and plumbing system in your house. Your house has pipes that are designed to carry water and waste out smoothly, right? They're built to keep things flowing. But what happens if one of those drains gets clogged, or the pipes become sluggish and don't drain properly? The dirty water backs up, it sits there, it stagnates, and over time it becomes thick, murky, and foul smelling. That's exactly what happens in our bodies. We eat food every day, 3 meals plus snacks, coffee. Everything. Our digestive system is supposed to break that food down, absorb the nutrients, and move the waste out efficiently. But if that system, that plumbing, isn't working at full capacity, the food we eat doesn't get processed correctly. Instead of turning into energy and nourishment for our cells, it turns into what traditional medicine calls dampness. And over time, that dampness gets thicker and stickier, and it condenses into what we call phlegm. That phlegm then travels upward and ends up getting stored in the lungs. Why the lungs? Because the lungs are closely connected to the body's fluid regulation and the movement of energy. So that's why you end up with the cough, the congestion, the constant throat clearing. The lungs are just the storage tank. They're not the factory. So now you see the problem clearly. If you only treat the lungs, you're just bailing water out of a leaking boat. You have to find the hole and patch it. You have to fix the sluggish plumbing, the digestive function, to stop the phlegm from being produced in the first place. That's the real cure, not just a temporary fix. Okay, so if that's the root cause, the next question is, why is this happening to so many people? Why is our digestive plumbing getting so sluggish? I see three main culprits in my practice, and I'll bet at least one of them sounds familiar to you. Number one, too much cold and raw food. Now, I'm not saying you can never have a salad or an iced coffee again, but let's be honest, Many of us love our cold drinks, our smoothies, our big salads, our cold sandwiches, and we eat them year round, even in winter. And there's a problem with that. Your digestive system, in this traditional view, works best at a certain temperature. It likes warmth. Think of it like a campfire. If you keep throwing cold, wet logs on a fire, what happens? It sputters, it smokes, it struggles to burn. You have to put dry, warm wood on it to keep it burning bright. Same thing with your digestion. When you constantly eat and drink cold things, your digestive system has to work extra hard. It has to expend a ton of energy just to warm everything up to the right temperature for proper digestion. Over time, that drains its functional energy. It's like a car engine trying to run in freezing weather without a block heater. It's inefficient, it strains, and eventually it starts to break down. This chronic cold exposure slows everything down, and that leads directly to that dampness and sludge we talked about. Number two, too much rich, fatty, and sugary food. Let's be real, many of us eat a lot of convenience foods, fast food, processed snacks, desserts, sugary drinks, heavy sauces. Our modern American diet is just overloaded with sugar and unhealthy fats. Here's a mental picture for you. Think about the roasting pan you use for Thanksgiving turkey. After the meal, that pan is coated with grease and fat. You try to wash it with cold water, it's a mess, right? The fat just sticks. It takes hot water and soap to break it down and get it clean. Our bodies are similar when our diet is constantly loaded with heavy, greasy, sugary stuff. It's hard for the digestive system to process it all cleanly. It gets gunked up, for lack of a better term, that sludge accumulates. And it turns into that dampness and phlegm. So every time you have that extra donut, that second serving of fries, that super sweet latte, you're essentially adding more grease to that roasting pan. And number three, too much stress and overthinking. This is one that surprises a lot of my patients. They say, "Doc, what does my brain have to do with my cough?" And the answer is a whole lot more than you think. Have you ever had a crazy stressful week at work and noticed that your stomach was upset, or you felt bloated, or you completely lost your appetite? That's not a coincidence. There's a direct connection between your mental state and your digestive health. In traditional medicine, it's said that overthinking, worry, and chronic stress can directly impair your digestive function. The energy that should be going to digestion gets diverted to your brain to deal with all that stress. And in our modern world, with smartphones, constant emails, social media 24/7 news cycles, we are constantly thinking, processing, worrying. Our brains never get a break. That consumes a huge amount of our body's energy, leaving less for proper digestion. Over time, that weakens your digestive system and makes it more sluggish, and that, of course, leads to more dampness and phlegm. So yes, your stress really can make you cough more. All right, so now we know the core problem. The phlegm is being produced by a sluggish digestive system, and it's just being stored in the lungs. That's the root. So what can we do about it? We're not going to just fight the cough directly. We're going to go straight to the source. And this is where that simple, humble orange peel comes in. Now, I know what you're thinking, orange peel. Seriously, doc, you want me to eat garbage, but hear me out. In many traditional healing systems, the aged peel of the orange, it's often called Chen Pi, is considered a real treasure. It's been used for centuries, and there's a reason for that. What makes it special is the aging process. Think of it like a fine cheese or a good wine. When you age it, something magical happens. The harsh, volatile compounds in the fresh peel mellow out, and the beneficial properties actually become stronger and more effective. So not all orange peels are created equal. The aged peel is where the real power is. So how does it work? There are two primary actions it has that make it so helpful for this exact problem. Action number one, it moves the energy or qi. Now, I know that sounds a little mystical, but let me simplify it. Think of qi as the body's internal flow, like the circulation of energy and fluids that keeps everything running smoothly. When this flow is free and unobstructed, fluids move properly, they don't stagnate, and they don't pool into thick, sticky phlegm. But when the flow gets blocked, like a traffic jam on the highway, everything backs up. The aged orange peel, in simple terms, acts like a gentle traffic cop. It helps nudge your digestive system to get things moving again. It helps unclog the pipes, so to speak, so that fluids don't get stuck and turn into that nasty phlegm. And action number two, it dries up the dampness. This is the really cool part. Remember that sludgy, sluggish feeling we've been talking about? The aged orange peel has a warm, drying quality. It works a bit like the sun coming out after a rainy week. When the sun shines, it gently evaporates the puddles and dries out the damp ground. The peel does something similar inside your body. It gently helps to evaporate and clear out that excess moisture and dampness. It's like turning on a gentle heater and dehumidifier for your digestive system, removing the conditions that allow phlegm to form in the first place. So here's the key point. This isn't just some random folk remedy. It's not just covering up the symptom, it's addressing the root, that sluggish, damp, clogged digestive system that's creating the phlegm in the first place. That's why I often tell my patients that managing this issue with simple, natural things like this can be much more effective than just relying on an over-the-counter medication that just tries to break up the surface mucus without ever fixing the underlying problem. It's the difference between patching a tire and replacing the leaky valve. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, doc, this sounds great. How do I actually use this thing? And I'm here to tell you it's really, really easy. Take a piece of aged dried orange peel. You can often find this at Asian grocery stores, some health food stores, or online. You want about the size of 2 or 3 postage stamps. That's roughly 5 to 10 grams, but you don't need a scale, just eyeball it. Rinse it off quickly to remove any dust, then put it in a small pot, add about 3 cups of water, bring it to a boil, then lower the heat and let it simmer gently. You want to let it simmer until the water is reduced to about 1 cup. This usually takes maybe 15 to 20 minutes, then strain out the peel. Pour the liquid into a mug and drink it. That's it. I usually suggest doing this twice a day, once in the morning, maybe after breakfast, and once in the evening after dinner. Try this for about 3 days. Many of my patients tell me that within that time, the phlegm significantly decreases. Their throat feels clearer. That constant tickle goes away and the nagging cough starts to quiet down significantly. It's like their body can finally breathe again. But, and this is a big but, before you go make a huge pot of this, I need to give you some really important warnings and caveats. This is not a one-size-fits-all thing, and I want you to be safe and smart about it. First and most importantly, the peel absolutely needs to be aged. Do not just peel a fresh orange, throw the wet peel in your water, and expect magic. That's not going to work, and it might actually make you feel worse. Fresh peel contains a lot of strong volatile oils that are harsh and irritating to the stomach lining. They're too pungent and too drying. The aging process is absolutely crucial. It's what makes the properties milder, more balanced, and more effective. That's why it's called aged peel. So if you eat oranges, you can actually save your peels. Just wash them, dry them, and store them in a cool, dry, airy place for a year or two. And you'll have a very good homemade version, but if you don't want to wait that long, buying aged peel from a reputable store is the way to go. Second, this remedy is specifically for a cough with lots of white or clear phlegm. It's not for every type of cough. If your cough is dry, meaning you have very little to no phlegm, but your throat feels super scratchy, raw, and irritated, and you feel thirsty all the time, this might not be for you. That type of cough usually indicates a lack of moisture, not an excess of it. Using a drying remedy on a dry cough is like putting a fan on a dry, cracked desert floor. It just makes it drier. So if that sounds like you, skip this and look for something more moisturizing and soothing for the throat. Third, and this is really critical, if your phlegm is thick, yellow, or greenish, and you also have a fever, a sore throat, feel hot and flushed, or have body aches, that could be a sign of a more significant infection, bacterial or viral, that needs more direct medical management. In those cases, the aged orange peel alone is not going to be enough. And it might even be counterproductive because it's warming. You need to see a doctor to get checked out. We need to rule out things like bronchitis, pneumonia, or a sinus infection that might require prescription medication. So please use your common sense here. And fourth, this is not a daily supplement. You don't drink this like iced tea all day, every day. Think of it like a tool. You use it when you need it, and you put it away when you're better. Once the phlegm clears and your digestion feels back on track, you stop. Going overboard with anything can create an imbalance. If you drink this for weeks on end, it could start to dry out your body too much, especially if you're naturally a drier person. So 3 to 5 days is usually plenty if you still have symptoms after that. It's time to see your doctor for a more personalized plan. This is exactly why in traditional medicine, there's a concept called syndrome differentiation. It means you don't just treat the cough as one generic thing. You treat the specific pattern of symptoms that the person has. You have to look at the whole picture. The color of the phlegm, the feeling of the throat, your overall body temperature, your digestion, your stress levels, everyone is different. That's why it's so important to not just hear about a remedy and blindly use it. You have to know if it's right for you. Now, let's take this a step further, because the benefits of this humble peel go way beyond just tackling this one type of cough. I have patients who use it for all sorts of things. For example, many people struggle with poor appetite. They just don't feel hungry, or they feel full and bloated after just a few bites. This is often because their digestive system feels sluggish and blocked. The aged orange peel can help gently wake up the stomach and get things moving again, so you actually feel hungry and can digest your food properly. It's like a gentle nudge to your digestive system that says, hey, it's time to work. Also, a lot of my female patients, and some men too, tell me they get breast tenderness or swelling, especially right before their period. This can be related to the flow of energy and fluids in the body. The peel can help move that stuck energy and relieve that uncomfortable, heavy feeling. Obviously, if it's severe, you should see your OB/GYN, but for mild cyclical tenderness, this can be a gentle, natural support. You can also make some wonderful combinations with the aged orange peel. It's not just a one-trick pony. Here are a few of my favorite simple pairings that I recommend to my patients. First, aged orange peel with fresh ginger. This is a classic if your phlegm is white, watery, and abundant, and you also feel chilly, have cold hands and feet, or just feel like your digestion is really sluggish. Add 2 or 3 slices of fresh ginger to the pot when you're simmering the peel. Ginger is warming and helps to kickstart your circulation and digestion. This combination is incredibly supportive for that slow, cold, damp feeling. It's like putting a warm, gentle blanket over your digestive system. Second, aged orange peel with hawthorn berries. Hawthorn is a small red berry that's often used to support digestion, especially of heavy, rich, fatty foods. If you feel like this phlegmy cough started after a few days of overindulging, think holiday meals, family barbecues, or just a weekend of eating out a lot. Adding some hawthorn to your peel tea can be really helpful. It's like giving your digestive system a little extra help to break down that heavier food so it doesn't turn into sludge. Third, aged orange peel with a little bit of honey. Once your tea has cooled down to a warm, drinkable temperature, not boiling hot, add a teaspoon of good quality honey. Honey is naturally soothing and coats the throat, which can help with that tickly cough. Plus, it's a natural prebiotic, which is great for your gut health. Just remember, never add honey to boiling water because that destroys its beneficial enzymes and nutrients. Let the tea cool first. Isn't it amazing how one simple, inexpensive thing can be so versatile? In Western medicine, we often have one drug for one symptom, but with these natural approaches, you can mix and match to create a very personalized solution. It's like having a toolbox instead of just a hammer. But let me be crystal clear about something. I am absolutely not saying this is a replacement for seeing a doctor, taking prescribed medications, or getting proper medical care. If you have a chronic cough, you should always get it checked out by a healthcare professional to rule out serious conditions like asthma, acid reflux, Colorado PD, or even lung issues. This is a supportive, gentle tool for a very specific type of post-cold phlegm, not a cure-all for every respiratory problem. Now, I want to go a little deeper here because not all phlegm is the same in traditional medicine. There are actually several different types of phlegm, and each one tells a different story. Knowing which type you have can help you understand what's going on in your body. First, there's white, watery, clear phlegm. This is what we call cold phlegm. This usually means your system is too cold and sluggish. It's like a cold, foggy morning where the moisture just hangs in the air. People with this type often feel cold all the time, have poor circulation, and may have loose stools. This is exactly the type that the aged orange peel and ginger combination is perfect for because it warms things up. Second, there's yellow, thick, sticky phlegm. This is what we call hot phlegm. This means there's heat in the system, like inflammation or an infection. It's like boiling a pot of soup until it becomes thick and concentrated. People with this type often have a sore throat, bad breath, feel thirsty, and may have constipation. For this type, the orange peel alone isn't enough. You would need to combine it with other herbs that are more cooling and clearing. That's why it's so important to get the right diagnosis. Third, Thier's gray or dark phlegm. This is often seen in people who have been smoking for a long time or who are exposed to a lot of air pollution or dust. The lungs are basically trying to clear out all that gunk that's accumulated over the years. This type is harder to treat and usually requires more comprehensive changes, quitting smoking, improving air quality, and doing breathing exercises along with medical support. The orange peel can be a small part of that support, but it's not going to solve the big picture on its own. And fourth, if you ever see blood in your phlegm, that is a red flag. That is not something to experiment with at home. That could be a sign of a serious lung condition, an infection, or even something more concerning. If that happens, you need to see your doctor immediately. Do not wait. Do not try to treat it yourself. Go get checked out now. Let's dig even deeper. Why do some people have so much phlegm that they just can't seem to cough it all up? This brings us back to the lungs. In traditional medicine, the lungs have a function called governing descending and dispersing. What that fancy phrase means in plain English is that the lungs have a rhythm. They breathe in, they breathe out, they take in fresh air and send it downward, and they push waste and moisture downward to be eliminated. But if that downward movement gets blocked, things start to back up. The phlegm gets stuck in the chest and throat, and you can't get rid of it. So why does that downward movement get blocked? There are a few reasons. One is an external invasion, meaning a cold or flu that's still hanging around. The virus or bacteria irritates the lungs, and the lungs get tight and congested, so they can't do their job properly. In that case, you need to address the lingering infection first. Another reason is the one we've been talking about. The digestive system is sluggish, producing too much dampness, and that dampness rises up and interferes with the lungs. That's when the orange peel is so helpful, because it works at that deeper digestive level. And here's a third reason that surprises a lot of people: the kidneys. You're probably thinking, Doc, my kidneys, what do they have to do with my cough? I know it sounds crazy, but in this traditional framework, the kidneys are responsible for grasping the chi, which essentially means they help you take a deep breath. When the kidneys are strong, you can breathe deeply and fully, and that downward movement of the lungs works well. But if the kidneys are weak, the breathing becomes shallow and weak. The lung function is compromised, and the phlegm can't be expelled effectively. So in chronic, long-term cases, you might even need to support kidney function to fully resolve a stubborn cough. That's why one remedy does not fit all. You have to look at the person as a whole. You see, this is the beauty of this traditional approach. It's not just about suppressing a symptom. It's about finding the root, understanding the whole person, and then using simple, targeted things to help the body rebalance itself. That's why I always tell my patients that learning to think this way is so empowering, because you start to understand your body instead of just fighting it. All right, let's get back to the orange peel. I want to give you a few more practical ways to use it just to make your life easier. One simple method is to just carry a small piece of the dried peel with you in your pocket or purse. If you're at work or out running errands and you feel that phlegm starting to build up, you can just chew on a tiny piece. It's not the most delicious thing in the world. It's a bit bitter and pungent, but it can help get things moving and clear your throat in a pinch. I know it sounds a little old-fashioned, but some of my patients swear by it. Another way is to use it in cooking. You can add a small piece of the aged peel to soups, stews, or braised dishes. It adds a subtle aromatic flavor and gently supports your digestion while you eat. It's a great way to incorporate it into your routine without even thinking about it. It's like a little extra support for your body. You can also grind the dried peel into a powder using a coffee grinder or a spice grinder. Then you can sprinkle a little bit into your tea, your oatmeal, or even your smoothie. Just a pinch is enough. This makes it super convenient and you don't have to boil it every time. And if you have a child who is prone to this kind of phlegmy cough after a cold, and I see this a lot with my younger patients, you can make a gentler version. Just use a smaller amount of the peel, maybe half the size, and add a little bit of honey and a slice of ginger to make it more palatable. Kids usually don't love the taste of the peel on its own, but the honey and ginger make it much more acceptable. It's a nice natural alternative to some of the harsher over-the-counter cold medicines for kids. Now, I also want to address a very common question I get in my office. Doc, if this is so good, why can't I just drink orange peel tea every day like a daily wellness drink? And my answer is always the same. Please don't. I know you want to be healthy, and I love that proactive attitude, but this is not a daily supplement. Remember the idea of balance. You use a tool to fix a problem, and once the problem is fixed, you put the tool away. If you don't have dampness or phlegm and you keep using a drying remedy, you might actually create a new problem. Dryness, you could dry out your throat, irritate your stomach, or even make your body too hot. So use it when you need it for a few days and then stop. If your symptoms linger beyond that, see your doctor. We can help you figure out the next step. There's also another important caution. This isn't for everyone. If you are someone who is naturally always thirsty, has a dry mouth, feels hot easily, or gets night sweats, you might have what's called a yin deficiency. This means your body's fluids are already on the lower side. Using a drying remedy like this would be a bad idea. It would be like putting a space heater in an already dry room. You just get drier and more uncomfortable. So if that sounds like you, skip this and look for something more soothing and moistening instead. And if you have a history of stomach ulcers, gastritis, or acid reflux, you need to be very careful with the aged orange peel. It can be stimulating to the stomach lining, and while it's gentle for most people, it could aggravate those conditions. If that's you, please talk to your doctor or a qualified practitioner before trying anything like this. Also, if you are pregnant or nursing, I would strongly recommend not using this without professional guidance. Pregnancy is a special time, and we want to be extra cautious about everything you consume. So please check with your OB-GYN first.
All right.
Let's shift gears now to something I'm equally passionate about: prevention, because I'd much rather help you avoid this problem entirely than have to treat it after it's already there. So, how do you prevent this sluggish phlegm producing digestive system from getting out of balance in the first place? Here are 5 simple, practical lifestyle habits that I recommend to all my patients to keep their digestive system strong and their lungs clear. Number 1, eat with moderation. And I'm not just talking about portion sizes, though that's part of it. I mean, the quality and temperature of your food. Try to eat regular, balanced meals. Don't skip breakfast and then binge at dinner. Don't eat a huge, heavy meal right before bed, and try to have something warm with most of your meals. Even if it's just a cup of hot water or warm tea, your digestive system will thank you. Number 2, manage your stress. I know, easier said than done, right? I get it, but even small things matter. Take 5 minutes to just sit and breathe without your phone. Go for a walk around the block, listen to some calming music, call a friend and talk about something other than work. These little moments of rest give your brain and your digestive system a much needed break. Number 3, keep your core warm. This is a simple one, but it makes a real difference. Wear an extra layer, keep your abdomen covered, especially in air-conditioned rooms or during the cooler months. It sounds old-fashioned, like something your grandmother would say, but it's actually solid advice. Your digestive system works better when it's kept at a comfortable warm temperature, so no crop tops in winter. Okay, number 4, stay active, but don't overdo it. You don't need to run a marathon or spend hours at the gym to get the benefit. A simple 30-minute walk every day, some gentle stretching, yoga, or even just dancing around the kitchen while you cook. These all help keep your energy and fluids moving. Movement is medicine. Just don't overdo it to the point of exhaustion, because that also stresses the body. Number 5, keep a regular schedule. Your body loves routine. Try to eat your meals at roughly the same time every day. Try to go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Your digestive system has its own internal rhythm. And when you feed it and rest it at regular intervals, it functions much more efficiently. Irregular eating and sleep schedules confuse your body and can lead to sluggishness. If you follow these 5 simple principles, your digestive system will be much stronger and you'll be far less likely to develop that stubborn, lingering phlegm after a cold. Even if you do get a little bit of it, you can use a simple remedy like the aged orange peel for a few days, and it'll clear up much faster. Prevention really is the best medicine. I also want to say something to the people who feel like they've tried everything and nothing works. I see you. I know how frustrating it is to feel like you're stuck in a cycle of coughing, throat clearing, and exhaustion. Please don't lose hope. Sometimes it takes time to find the right approach. Sometimes you need to work with a practitioner who can really dig into your specific pattern and help you untangle everything. There are solutions out there. You just need to find the right one for you. And please, I'm begging you, don't self-diagnose and self-treat for months on end without professional guidance. If you have a persistent cough that lasts more than 3 weeks, you should absolutely see a doctor. We can do tests, check your lungs, rule out asthma or allergies or reflux, and make sure there's nothing serious going on. Natural remedies are wonderful supportive tools, but they are not replacements for a proper medical diagnosis. All right, let me wrap this all up for you. That nagging cough and that stubborn phlegm that just won't go away, it's not just a random nuisance. It's often a sign that your digestive system is out of balance and needs a little help. And one of the simplest, most accessible tools you can use to help it is aged orange peel. It's inexpensive, it's natural, and it's been trusted for centuries. It moves stuck energy, it dries up excess dampness, and it helps get your plumbing flowing smoothly again. But remember, it's for a specific type of cough. Know your body, know your symptoms, and if you're unsure, get checked out by a professional. Your health is too important to guess. I hope this gives you a new, empowering way to understand your body and take a little bit of control back. I want you to feel confident that you have the power to support your own health, and I'm here to help you understand the science and tradition behind it all. And as always, this is for educational purposes only. Always consult your own doctor before making changes to your diet, your lifestyle, or your health routine if you're dealing with any health concerns. Please schedule a visit with your primary care doctor. I'm here to help you understand the science, not replace professional medical advice. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and please drop a comment below. I really want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with this kind of stubborn post-cold cough? Have you ever tried a natural remedy for it? What worked? What didn't? Your story might help someone else who's going through the same thing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves and be kind to your bodies. They do so much for us. Bye for now.